What's going on, guys? It's Lewis here with Crypto Elite, and I just bought a lot of cryptocurrencies, and so I figured I will go over what I bought, why I bought it, how I'm doing it. This way, I guess what I did right now was I averaged down into different cryptocurrencies, and I've been averaging down. And in my VIP, my alert just went on that said Bitcoin hitting major support, so I'm logging everything here. So because this happened, what happens is I click this button, and when I click it, the chart comes up that tells me like when I planned on buying. So this is from April 3rd. And yes, I did buy some at 44K, but like a lot of it was, 42K is what I was waiting for. And if you press the play button, you could see that it did come down to just about this area. So there's about a 1% drop, further drop that it may come down to. But I put my alert in right around here at 41,800, 41,900, just because I didn't want to wait until the 61.8. I wanted to get in a little bit above it. So yeah, 41,800. That's where I put it in. So this was my buy zone right here. I think it's a good buy zone. You could see there was support and resistance right there and right there, along with some right here and right here. And maybe if we scroll left, not so much over here because it did go much further. It went down to 40K. 40,700 down there. Although it did wick down to basically 40K once. So yeah, I just bought, and so I'm gonna go over my positions right now and pretty much how I like what my game plan is. Okay, so the first trade that I put on was for Atom or Cosmos, and I bought it right here at $26.34. And now I'm thinking to myself, okay, where do I want to sell it? Where do I want to take my profit, right? So what I'm seeing on the Atom chart is that it made, the highs all the way up here at $43.64. So if we were in a bull market, this is where I would want to take my profits for sure. But obviously, we're not in a bull market right now. Things are really iffy. You don't really know what's going on. And since January 17th, it made the high, lower high, lower high, lower high. It did make this higher high, which is great, but now it made another, basically another lower high. So it has a lot of resistances. So you could do something like this if you want to take the diagonal, right? And then say, okay, if it does pop back up, maybe it'll come back up here to the 78.6, or maybe it'll end up coming back up to the 61.8. Personally, I always taking profits at the 61.8. So this is where I would want to take my profits, because you could see that this is a very good buy zone. And first off, let's go over why this is a good buy. This is a good buy because if you look at the Atom chart, you could all the way back from September 8th, 2021, or September 2021, you could see that this was resistance, it broke through, it was support, and then it had that major high, came back down, it was support, came up, broke through, it was resistance, broke up, support, back down, resistance, and then support again, and now it's support again. So this is a major support when it comes to this coin, when it comes to Atom. So what I will do is I will put this trade on and I will buy it right here. And personally, I think that it's almost guaranteed to go up. Like, it has a very high probability to go up. Obviously, this is trading. Nothing's guaranteed in trading. But it does have a high probability given the significance of this support and the fact that it went on a huge run up. Everyone who bought here, who was expecting to take profits at this previous high at $33.96 or $34, they never got to take their profits because it ended up, reversing at $33, which is super annoying. So now all of these people who bought here and were waiting to sell up here ended up, they're back down they're back down at where they actually, bought originally. So now they're probably selling, and they are probably the traders that are selling into the buy, into other people's buys, like my buys and stuff like that, because now they're, at a loss, or they're just at break even, and they're like, screw this, I'm not going to endure a loss. And a lot of times I see like some type of double or triple tap or something like that. So this happens a lot. It comes up, goes back down, and then come to your entry, and then comes back up again. So I don't know. I'm pretty confident in it. Also, look at the RSI and stochastic RSI. You could see. Let me see if I could make this go higher. You could see from here to here, this right now, where it is right now, is higher than what it was yesterday. Than what it was before. And also the stochastic is like super, super, super in the oversold territory. So if you look at that, that's a bullish divergence, because back here, the price was higher than where it is now. However, the momentum indicator is saying that I guess you could call it the momentum indicator, even though I'm not talking about momentum in terms of like downward momentum. I'm talking in terms of like interest, basically, is that the interest in the coin and the momentum of the coin is moving upwards. So because that's why this is higher, even though the price is lower. So that's a bullish divergence right there, which is another confluence as to why I'm buying. Plus, you could look at the MACD, and if you look at the MACD, you could see that there is an even, actually, wait a minute. Okay, no, the MACD doesn't have a bullish divergence, but the MACD is really oversold, or, they don't really say oversold in the MACD, but it's in the bottom half, and usually, it goes to the bottom half, and then what happens, it comes back up to the midline, and then either comes up or it makes a W. So I like this. I like how low the MACD is. I like how there's a slight bullish divergence on the RSI. I like how the stochastic RSI is way oversold. And I like how it's at support. So that's a lot of indicators and price action and everything like that that's coming together that is making me more bullish here. Okay, so that's my first thing. So I bought it here, and then what I'll do is I'll take the Fibonacci from the top to the bottom, and I'll say the 61.8 is up here. That's really great. I want to be, cautious, because it's always better to be cautious in these type of markets. So my first take profit is not going to be at the 61.8, but it's actually going to be right here, right below the 38.2, just in case we do something, like we come up, hit the 38.2, and then smack back down, and then, go down to the actual, range lows, which is actually a little bit lower than here. It's $21.48, which actually lines up perfectly with the 61.8. So this would probably be my next buy down here for Atom. But yeah, I'm going to take half of my profit at this level. So let me do this real quickly. And I want to use this as my thing so that you could see, the price right there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to input this into my trading software so that I take half my profit here, and then I'll take the rest of it up here. Okay, so that's my Atom trade. And for this trade, I am risking under 0.5%, because remember, you also have to remember, what type of market we are in and the circumstances that we're in. So I'm not jumping in risking 3% or anything crazy on every single trade. On a lot of these type of trades, on a lot of trades I'm taking right now, the risk is literally 0.25 to 1%, unless like I'm way more confident in it, then I risk more. Also, I am diversifying into more trades. So instead of having like 3 trades with like 3% each, or like 5 trades with like 2% each, what I'll do, maybe that's a lot, maybe like 4 trades with 2% each. What I'm doing is I'll have like 5 to 10 trades with like 0.25 to 1% each, just in case, some of them hit, some of them don't, because there's less confidence in the market right now, unless it jumps up, and then I'll be more confident to actually short it. But yeah, that's pretty much the game plan when it comes to how much I'm risking per trade for these trades. So this is my first one, and now I'm going to go into my next one. Okay, so the next trade that I have on is for CeeLo, and if you start off on the weekly, you can see that this was a hell of a weekly candle right here. But what I do is I I plotted out the major support, major resistance, and you can see that basically it's been in between this big range between $2.30 or $2.20 and pretty much $5 to $6 for over a year now. So what I did is I plotted that out, buy here, sell here. That's very obvious. However, there's also this area where we are literally right now, which is not necessarily the midline because it's below the midline. Obviously, you could see that it looks like to be about a third of the way up from the bottom. However, this has been major support right here, major resistance right here, and also major support right here. So this is a big area of confluence that you want to look at. So we have this, and then that's on the weekly. And then what you could do is you could go down into the 3-day, see if there's anything that you see that, you know, makes you change your mind or anything like that. Obviously, this giant candle right here is extremely worrisome for me, but that's why I'm only putting, 0.25% risk on all of my trades, because when you get a candle like this, that is really bad. So I have a sheet that I use when it comes to candlesticks, and this is a shooting star. And so what I do is I look at this sheet every single time, and I make sure to know, like, so I get it in my brain, you know, what is it, and I'll Google it for you really quickly. Okay, so this is the shooting star right here. Right here, this is probably the best one. Same thing with this one right here. So you can see there's a giant wick, and it looks like, you know, a shooting star. It looks like this is the candle is the star, and then the wick is the trail behind it, and that's a reversal candlestick. So that's why, because it's a reversal candlestick, and it's bearish, that's why I am a little bit more hesitant on buying CeeLo, considering that it had that 3-day shooting star right here. However, you know, it did retrace, and I didn't even look at this. But okay, look at this. Bottom, top, 61.8. There you go. So it's in the golden ratio of the retrace from the bottom to the top. The stochastic RSI is very heavily oversold. The MACD is down, so it may move up. And the MACD, at the regular RSI, I don't really like how this is looking, to be honest. So this one I'm not like super confident about, but I'm still in it because I wanted to get in it, and I like this big level, this big support level that we have right here. So we have the big support and a couple other confluences. So I'm in it, but like I mentioned, my position sizes are extremely small for long positions or on positions that aren't at major support resistance zones and all these other, you know, places, because I don't want to risk that much. I want to continue to, you know, keep my capital. And also because of the market conditions, I also want to take my profits pretty early. So what I'm going to do for this is determine where to take my profits, where to have my stop loss, and all of that. So give me 1 second. Okay, so for this trade, I went down into the 4-hour, and you could see that we do actually have a nice bullish divergence on the 4-hour, plus some upward momentum. So I guess right here was a better buy when it comes to the MACD. However, it's still not terrible on the MACD, because we got the 1/2 of the M, and usually it goes 1/2 and then another half to form an M that looks something like this, you know, just like this is a W down there. It's the opposite is true for the top. So that means that there's some potential to go up. Plus we have obviously the 4-hour 200 exponential moving average, which you could see right here was some support, and also resistance. So this is a fairly good support resistance area. So it has some confluence right here, plus obviously the big support resistance from the weekly and daily and all that other stuff, plus the full retrace, the double bounce. So I got in right here, and I'm going to take my profit at the 38.2. I'm going to take my first take profit. I'm going to, you know, take it pretty conservatively at 3.633, because I want to make sure that I lock in at least a little bit of profits, just because I'm not totally sure what's going to happen. But I do want to be in this trade, and I think that this has enough confluence to move up more, especially with the RSI. I like how the RSI is, and CELO had a little bit of a narrative, I think, behind it. So yeah, this is going to be the trade setup for CELO that I'm in right now. Remember, risking very, very little. Position sizes are super small. Okay, so next up is XTZ, and this one is really, really good. So if you look at the weekly chart, first things first, definitely want to, you see these higher lows, you see these constant higher lows, boom. So you do that, and this is a really good buy zone. This is a really, really good buy zone. And if this if this breaks below, then if this breaks below and then comes back up, it would be a really good shorting opportunity. But right now, it's a good longing opportunity in my eyes. So we have this diagonal support. But what's the first thing that you want to look at is not diagonal. You want to look at horizontal supports and resistances. So let me plot those out for you really quickly. Okay, so now we have the major support, major diagonal support, and then we have the major horizontal resistance here and here. There really isn't that much of a major horizontal support, because as you could see, starting from the low, this was the major horizontal support, and then we made a higher low, and then we made a higher low, and then, well, I guess you could say a higher low, and then a higher low, and then a higher low. This right here is the biggest major support area, if you could call it that, and it even got front ran back here. So I would want to get in if I was going to wait. I would get in down here, and it does make sense. So I guess I'll plot this out like this. And what I like to do is I like to make it green. I like to make the supports green just to make sure that it's really obvious. And so yeah, but besides this, we had the higher lows. So the diagonal is a little bit more powerful, and yeah, maybe it'll drop even more, but I'm pretty confident in this buy zone right over here, because not only do we have obviously the support right here, but we have the 200 weekly moving average, which is really, really nice. So maybe if we go down into 3-day, and then maybe a little bit lower, we could see some more indicators showing some better confluence. Because also, if you look at the weekly, you could see right here, the RSI is continuing to move up, which is a really, really good sign. And there's not really a bullish divergence on this, because obviously the price is higher than what it was before, but the RSI is higher, so there's confluence in terms of the RSI and the price. It would be nice to have a bullish divergence, of course, but the price would have to be lower than the previous price, and it's not there yet. So maybe if we go down, okay, so going down to the 3-day, we could lower this. We could lower this like a little bit, right? Because you can see that there is, let me do this real quick, it still touches the line every single time, here and here, here. It's touching this line a lot. And we're continuing even on the smaller time frames, lower time frames, we get the higher RSI, which is good. And also the MACD came all the way down, so hopefully we'll get that M on the MACD. If we go down into the 2-day, you can see that 2-day is actually starting to be green, which is pretty nice. It's in the green zone. The RSI is starting to turn up, and the stochastic RSI is in the oversold territory. So on the lower time frames, it actually looks way better. Even the MACD is showing signs of strength. So lots of strength in Tezos right now. And so maybe if we go down into the daily, we can see something else. And yeah, so I bet there's a lot of people who are wanting to buy it right here, and they're probably gonna get front run right here. Like, it makes sense that they would get front run. I don't really like how the RSI is doing this, doing this right here. That's a little weird, a little funky, but I do like the MACD. Oh, this is actually really good. So right when the very first candle. So if you're going to use the MACD, what you want to do is you want to wait until it falls below the midline, which this is the midline, and then as soon as it prints a candle that's this color that looks like this, that moves up, that's when you want to get in. So considering that this just happened on the daily, plus the stochastic RSI is like way oversold, plus the RSI is really, really low as well. And I like it. I like this as a buy. So this is on daily. Maybe if we go, so let me put my order in. I need to figure out exactly where I bought it. Okay, so the next coin that I bought was Polkadot, and this you could see on the weekly chart. We had like the high, and then the low, and then the lower high, and then the lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And we finally busted through and got a higher high, which is great. And so now I'm buying at the 61.8 of that higher high in hopes of it making a higher low and then moving up to at least the, previous higher high, if not a little bit below it. So that's on the weekly. So then if we go down into the daily, you could take the Fibonacci from the bottom to the top. And you can see that, right around here, that we're pretty much at the 61.8. If not, if we go like this, then we're not. But if we do it from the bottom to the top, we are. So I am just buying in hopes that we are. And so what I want to do is sell some right here. And then I would also want to sell some right here as well. So this is TP1, and I will put my thing in like this and do this, and then decide where I should put my stop loss. Most likely here. Go down into the 4 hour to get a little bit more granular with it. And I do think that this is a fairly solid price. So if I bring this over to the left, sorry, this is going to take just a minute. Also, you could see that the RSI has consistently been making higher highs. So the RSI right now is creating a bullish divergence. Low, higher low, higher low, higher low. However, the prices have been going down. So that's a good sign as well. So this is pretty much it. 21.78. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do this. And so this is going to be my trade for DOT. And right here will be my stop loss. So yes, there you go. Okay, so one thing that I think I'll talk about in this video is a strategy that I use sometimes where I will lower my average cost basis on a, trade or on a cryptocurrency, and then I will lower my take profit based off of the market. And so this is actually a good example of this that I'm looking at right now. This is ENS, and what happened was I saw it had this nice move up, and so I wanted to get in at the 38.2. So I snagged it. I either snagged it here or I snagged it here. I think I snagged it here. And then obviously it went up, and I think my original trade was something like this, where I don't know why TradingView does that, but it was something like this, right? So this was like my original trade. But obviously that didn't work because it went down from 20.92 and not, $22 or wherever I had my take profit. And the thing is, like, I put such a small amount into this trade that I could now buy more and then redo the trade so that it's from my average buy position, right? Which would be like here. And then I could look for the best place to sell, which would be, in my opinion, right here underneath the 38.2 at about $17.53. So that's something that is a move. I don't really like talking about it too much because it is sort of advanced, and you have to understand the risks that you're putting into the trade and your position size relative to the trade, and also like how confident you are, and like a lot of factors go into it. But if you get into a trade, if you dollar cost average into a trade with enough capital or with as little capital, that so that it doesn't give you a risk of ruin, or it doesn't make you like you're going to blow out your account, or that you're going to even lose more than a few percentage, then you could average down and then lower your take profit price. So like I said, originally my take profit was up here, right? But due to the market, I don't feel comfortable with it anymore, but I don't want to just exit my trade immediately. So I will put a stop loss in, and I'll put a stop loss in, say like right here, somewhere where a stop loss would be, I would normally put a stop loss in, which in this case is underneath the 78.6. And then I would just take my profit at a very, 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 very conservative level. And so you could do that. Like, you can do stuff like this if you have a really good grasp of position sizing and risk management. And so what I do is, before every single trade, I will go into my position sizing calculator, and I will plot out the entry, the exit, the entry, the stop loss, the take profit, and then I'll put in however much capital into that trade based off of how much I want to risk. And let's say I want to risk 1%. Well, sometimes I'll only put in 0.5% into that trade. So let's say that I'm willing to risk up to 1%, but initially I'll put 0.5% into that trade of risk. And then if it happens to go down, then I will, double the position size, lower my average entry price, and then I could lower my take profit price as well, and get out with a small win instead of a loss. So yeah, there's a lot of different strategies that you could do, and there's just different techniques that you learn along the way as a trader. Like I said, this is super advanced because I don't want you to say put on a trade that has a 2% risk and then have your stop loss, right here, and then the price goes down below your stop, then you move your stop, and then you put on a new trade, and now you're risking 4% or 5% or more in that one trade. That's not something that you want to do, right? You want to make sure your risk is low, continues to be low for the trade. So that requires you using small position sizes. But it's something to think about. It's something to think about, and something that you could possibly do on your own, possibly test. Trading is all about testing things. So make sure you test as much as you possibly can, and trade and figure out awesome strategies that work for you, because they work for different strategies work for different people based off of their trading styles and temperament and emotional wherewithal and everything like that. And so I have this trade on. I also have a lot of other trades on. And like I said, I'm risking 0.25 to 1.5 per trade. And hopefully some of these will hit. One of them just did. It was actually near. So what I did with near was I bought it up here, and I bought more down here. And then I actually just took my profit like right now. So, yeah, so I took my profit here at 16.2, I think. So now I'm out of near, and that was something that I originally wanted to take my profit up here, but it just didn't work out like that. So all I got to say is test out different strategies, understand the concepts behind trading, and then you could make up your own trading routine and trading strategies. But it's about 1:20 in the morning now, so I am gonna head to bed, and I will do a big market update tomorrow, and continue working on my course and updating everyone in the Discord group. So keep on stacking those sats and keep on making those gains, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.